But I do understand that there may be a fair number of people here who are here for the Old Glen Road sidewalk issue. And I think you've heard what we decided to do with it, but if you want to take, since you've come here and sat through 2 hours of this, if you want to make a comment on this, or if someone maybe is representing the group would like to make a comment, and maybe our board members and township committee members could get an idea of how important it is to all of you by raising your hands or whatever. I'm happy to address that issue right now, so if that's the only reason you're here is wondering what we're going to do about Old Glen Road sidewalks, then I'm happy to open that up at this point for that. But everything else, any other comments besides Old Glen Road sidewalks, we'd like to wait on until we finish our input from all the board members. So, is that why you're up here?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman.
Representing everyone, or?
Yeah.
I'm not representing everyone now. There's quite a few people here.
If you can raise your right hand, if you don't mind, please. Do you swear to God or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. Name and address for the record, please.
Alita Karras, 60 Old Glen Road.
Thank you.
And you provided us an email, right, on this?
I did, at least one. Okay. I'll try to keep to the 5 minutes, but some issues have come up. I had my whole, pretty much the letter I sent in here. But I do want to just clear up a couple of misconceptions, which we were talking at the break to some of you. Thank you for listening to us and take the interest. I'm not speaking for everyone. There's many people here. I think that they should have the chance to speak as well. One is that the population of Old Glen has really changed in 10 years. I knew, many of the people here knew, young families have moved in. As I've been here for 5 years, almost every house has sold. It's incredible. So there's a few houses on my end near Woodland that are original people. However, they are interested in the sidewalks as well. Some of the older people would like to get out and be able to walk their dogs or whatever. And it's a real problem for them as much as it is for the people walking their pushing baby strollers. So I really want to clear up the misconception that the people of Old Glen Road don't want sidewalks. The people of Old Glen Road do want. Now, whether that's 100%, there's never 100% of anything. I don't know if you need 100% to make the decision, but to at least get it in the master plan for consideration, I'm sure you don't need 100%. I think that that's something that could be in the master plan as something going forward to look at and consider. Because, first of all, Old Glen is a very unique street. It's a unique situation, I really believe that. Because not only is it a neighborhood street, it's supposed to be like a side street, a neighborhood street, and people come into that community with that idea. They're near Ginty, they see the park, they're going to bring their children over. There's people pushing strollers in the shoulder. That's our sidewalk, the shoulder of the road, extremely dangerous. And I say it's unique because then you have the other aspect that it is a thoroughfare. We're aware of that. It's a connector road between Madison Avenue and Woodland. It's an important road for the police, the fire, they come through. We have grammar school in our neighborhood. People come through for the grammar school. People are rushing through to get to 287. They're jockeying between Madison and Woodland in the morning to see which way they can go through faster. All of that is happening at pretty high speeds. And then we're out there with young children, with elderly people trying to walk the dog and live our lives on the street that has somehow been relegated to being a cars-only street. So not only don't we have sidewalks, we don't have crosswalks, so we can't even get across the street. We don't have a crosswalk at the end of Old Glen, across Woodland, so when we do make our way down in the shoulder of the road at great risk, we can't even get across Woodland. The other streets all have crosswalks. We don't, because I guess someone decided we're not supposed to be walking. But you know what? People do walk anyway. Despite the fact that the danger, people get out. They have to take their kids out on a bike ride. They have to push the stroller. They have to take a walk with the dog. So everyone's on the shoulder. If you take a ride down Old Glen and you look at the curves in the road, again, something that makes us unique, such a busy road and all these curves, the shoulders that were put in, from what I understand, right before I moved in, the shoulders were put in, the lines are all worn away. because the cars are coming around so fast, they're wearing away, they're going into the shoulder, and that's our sidewalk. So we try to walk on the side that you think you might be seeing the best. It's really a very, very dangerous situation. I truly believe that it is a tragedy waiting to happen. I cringe when I see people walking with the little ones. I don't have little children, but do like to walk, get out, see the neighbors, and we do use the shoulder of the road. One of the gentlemen, I think, mentioned that someone had said to try to use the shoulder as a walk. I think that was me making the suggestion, kind of out of desperation. Like, well, if you won't give us sidewalks, try to make the shoulder a path for us, try to find something. And you're right, it's not a safe situation, but we do it anyway, because otherwise we can't walk. All we can do is step out of our house, get in our car, and go drive somewhere. And that isn't how people live. So these are some of the things that I wanted to mention. I don't know if my 5 minutes is up, but let me just give me 1 second here. So we're asking that the master plan contain a provision that states that Old Glen Road should be considered for pedestrian safety, because we believe that public safety should be the #1 priority, not whether some people are concerned if their trees are knocked down. I know the trees are lovely. No one loves trees more than I do. However, I truly believe public safety should be #1. And if you just put in the master plan that this should be considered in some way, and there are other things. I spoke at length with Tim Quinn, administrator. He was very open. He was very nice to me. We spoke over half an hour on the phone. And he was interested in some way of addressing the situation. If it absolutely could not be sidewalks, then some other way to handle it, because he realized what a difficult problem it was. You know, a lot of my letter here was about how busy the street is and why, and I don't think I need to go through it, because from speaking to a few of you, you do know, but I'm going to turn it over to the next person so I don't hog up all the time. Thank you for your attention. We really, really need the assistance. Please don't let a tragedy be what makes the change come. Let's address it and be proactive and make it for the betterment of the community that we all enjoy. Thank you.
So I would like to add that we have listened to you, and we are adding it to the master plan. So I know you're recommending that, and I think it is being added to the master plan.
I appreciate it.
So it's done, really.
Thank
There's
you.
not, that doesn't mean we're going to go build it.
I understand that.
But this is the first step, and so
Yes.
all we can do tonight is add it to the master plan, reads it, and it's something to be looked at, and that's what we've done. So I don't think there's anything more that we can do this evening regarding the Glen Road sidewalks.
But if you pass along the information, just so that, because it does seem to be in the mind of many of the officials, if you pass along that many people showed up here tonight, and there were many more that called and let us know in the neighborhood that they couldn't make it. So just so you know that whole thing has changed, so we get the new.
Right, and how many people are here because of the Old Glen Road sidewalks?
And these are all separate homes.
So how many
And
is that?
our next door neighbors just left.
So there's like 6 people, 6, 7, or 8 people? How many did you count, Jesse?
There were two here earlier that
Yes.
So let's say 8. So our township committee members, I think, noted that. Tim Quinn knows that, so. Well, on our way to at least considering it.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. So if there's, I can't imagine anyone has anything more unique to say about the Old Glen Road sidewalks, but if you really feel you do have something unique, you're welcome to do that. But I'd like to move on with the meeting, and I'd like to hear any comments you might have on the things we're going to talk about later as well. Okay.
Will all of you please raise your right hands? Do all of you swear to God or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
I think I heard 4. Thank you all. And names and addresses for the record as fast as you can, please.
Ann Shimon, 37 Old Glen Road.
Sharon Lee, 47 Old Glen Road.
Kate McCooey, 45 Old Glen Road.
Katie Mobius, 43 Old Glen Road.
Those words are probably
We just want to reiterate, we completely agree with everything Leah said. We want to thank her for bringing this to everyone's attention. This has been an issue we've all spoken about privately with our husbands, with our other neighbors, with neighbors on Fairfield, on Bradwell. There's a lot of young people, young families on the block, and we're out, we're active in the community. We're all going to Ginty and to Wantica and trying to walk, and it's just a huge concern that we have for our small children and how they're kind of utilizing the neighborhood. So we would really appreciate it if this would be a serious consideration.
And I just wanted to say, it's not just the speeding, it's more, my concern is the texting and the distracted drivers these days that are, swerving in and out of our shoulder that we're using with our kids all the time, so.
Thank you. That's it.
Thank you.
The texting, obviously, we're working on, but the most important thing is, we're here, Louise and I, plus the other 3 members of the committee. If you've got thoughts and processes that are going on in the neighborhood, make a phone call, we'll come over.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Do you swear to God or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. Name and address for the record, please.
Kathy Wilson, 20 Beechwood Drive. I would just like to make one quick comment about the process for making decisions about sidewalks. As you saw tonight, or as I was observing, it appeared to me that there was about to be a conclusion drawn that the majority of residents on Old Glen Road did not want sidewalks. And I am not entirely clear what the decision-making process is for deciding whether or not sidewalks get implemented. We've now added Old Glen to the list of recommended sidewalks, which there's, 10 or 12 particular streets in the master plan, and I agree with that. But my concern is that these have been recommendations since 2007, and here we are 10 years later, and nothing has happened. And it's not clear to me what the process is for making the decisions. I know it's a very conflict-ridden process, and it seems to me that it's worthwhile to evaluate what the process is and to make sure it's clear so everybody knows, and that it's fair. And I think there's a place for reevaluating the process that gets used to make decisions on which sidewalks get put in and how and when and all that. Because whatever the process is, we have recommendations being made, and 10 years later, they're not implemented. And now we're recommending them again.
So Jim, you want to,
Yeah, I don't think it's fair to say nothing has happened, because there have been sidewalk projects that have advanced, or links that have been completed both by the township and developers. And in this particular case on Old Glen Road, every resident was sent a letter, and they were all part of the process. I mean, granted, that was probably 8 or 10 years ago when we did that, and things do change, and that's why this process kind of evolves, and we can take another look at that. I don't know how soon it would happen, but I mean, it's the budgetary constraints really restrict
I understand that.
the amount of sidewalk that can be done, but it's.
My comment was specific to those 10 or 12 streets that were listed in the master plan as being priority sidewalks. And there was also reference to, I think Mr. Hahn talked about developing a roadmap and a timeline. I'm not clear if that relates to sidewalks as well, or other issues that you've talked about this evening. But when I said nothing's been done, I was referring to those particular 10 or 12 streets that were listed.
Okay.
Particularly.
And Columbia was one that was listed, and we sent notice out to all the neighbors. It was funded to the tune of, over $100,000, and those residents didn't want to advance that. I don't have the list right in front of me, but there's, I think there's some other stuff on that list that kind of advanced.
Okay. Well, later when there's public comment, if there's time, I have other things to say. But
Okay.
as far as Old Glen, that's my comment. Thank
yeah,
you.
we're going to try to push on.